Hello and welcome to today's LEND Network webinar. I'm Christine Wilma Overstreet with the Community of Democracies and the LEND Network. LEND, or Leaders Engaged in New Democracies, brings together leaders from the world's newest democracies with advisors from other countries who have helped navigate past transitions to democracy. LEND uses online tools as well as face-to-face meetings to facilitate communication. In that vein, I am pleased to introduce today's webinar on open governance. For today's presentation, and also the next one in a few weeks' time, we'll be addressing the issues of using online tools to improve governance. Today, we will be focusing on open governance, and during the next webinar, we will focus on a new initiative in Moldova involving e-governance. The presenter for the next webinar will be Ms. Stella Mokan of the E-Government Center of Moldova. I have the pleasure of introducing our speaker for today's presentation. We will be hearing from Ms. Zuzana Wienk. Zuzana Wienk is a founder and a program director of a leading Slovak political watchdog NGO, Fair Play Alliance. Fair Play Alliance uses techniques of investigative analytical journalism to disclose cases of illicit or unethical practices in politics and state administration. They also monitor developments in the judicial system and use advocacy or public campaigning to highlight any deficiencies they find. Her NGO is known for using modern IT tools to boost transparency, and Fair Play Alliance has been awarded a couple of international prizes for its web projects. Ms. Wienk started her career as a reporter and columnist, and also has served as a member of a self-regulatory board for ethics in print media, the Press Board. Today, Zuzana Wienk will be speaking to us about open governance and how it can deter corruption. Over to you, Zuzana.
Hello, Christine. Thank you very much, and hello, everybody. I'm very happy to premiere on such an important event. Before I start sharing concrete examples of tools of open government that can make our lives easier, I would like to just dedicate a few sentences for the basics. Without these basics, none of the case examples that I will show would be possible. So please bear with me for a second. You might find it a paradox, but I think that one of the most important measures that Slovak government took in the past to promote economical growth was implementing freedom of information legislation. Before that, citizens had no access to information whatsoever about what the state is doing, and you can imagine in such secrecy, corruption really can strive and grow. When citizens, NGOs, and media suddenly discover information they can control state much better, it makes them powerful, and I really believe that such an openness and transparency slowly leads to making the whole environment fairer, and also to making the countries and the economy richer. What was very important in the past about the freedom of information law was that it was driven by a very strong coalition of NGOs. In such a case, the law got advocates that were able to defend it when the government discovered what they have done by chance, and when they wanted to restrict the law or restrict access of public to information. Every time that this was happening, the former advocates of the law came together, and with very strong public support and support of media, they managed to defend the law. So for now, 12 years later, Slovakia has one of the most progressive laws in the world, and is very thankful for that. Another thing which is very important, next to having this law well worded, is a clear judicial, are clear judicial guarantees, because many disputes about access to information will be solved in courts, and without independent courts that can guarantee access to information, this will not work. What is also very important is that this law provides a very large access to information for public, and almost to anyone, not only the local public, local NGOs and local citizens, but also international media and citizens of the world. I was speaking now about the rights of people and the role of people and role of public, but I think collecting quality information is very important for governments as well, because it makes governments to do good decisions, decisions about governance. So if I can leave you with one message to remember tonight, please invest in technologies as soon as possible, and make it possible to collect data about what you are doing in the state, and make it also available to public. Such data will provide you incredible analytical wealth to improve the decisions. To highlight this, I would like to mention two examples and then show you one very concrete measure that we are using in Slovakia. I was very surprised being in Norway, in such a developed democracy, that was trying to handle this very bloody and sad experience after attack of Breivik. You for sure remember how 2 years ago this madman called Andres Breivik attacked an island close to Oslo and killed a lot of people. And this accident really not only saddens the whole country, but made it analyze what went wrong and why it went wrong. One of the analytical endeavors concentrated on the police. It took very detailed statistics on how the police functions when policemen are at work, when are they at home, and when the crime is happening. And when Norway correlated these two statistics, they found out that most of the crimes happen at night or during the weekends. But they, looking at the statistics of work of policemen, they found out very soon that most of the policemen are not working at night and in the weekends. So such a very simple comparison of data they were collecting allowed them to see one of the weakest points in functioning of the police. Very similar example comes from New York and from the hotline that is offered there to citizens. Another very powerful case comes from Great Britain, when Great Britain started to analyze hospitals and how they functioned. They started to rate hospitals according to certain factors, very clear data that they could compare and analyze. So not impression of patients, not subjective information, but very objective information that can be compared. It improved British hospital system very well. It also allowed citizens to compare and choose better equipped, better performing hospitals, and it created a competition on the market that in the longer run helped everyone. Now I will try to share my screen with you in a second. I hope it will work well to show you an example of such data analysis that we are using in Slovakia. Now you should be able to see a project of Transparency International Slovakia in cooperation with one of the biggest dailies in Slovakia, SME, that is offering very detailed information on the tenders, so public procurement. This is an incredible wealth of information that allows you to see what state is buying, what methods the state is using for buying goods, and also who are the winning companies providing a large infrastructure to state. Here you can see the largest companies, and by clicking on one of them, it will allow us to think in a detail that you should be able to see now. Just hold on a second and let me check if everything is working good. I got a message from the administrator that everything is working good and you should be able to see it. So you can see here one of the biggest construction companies that is offering their services to state for building highways. Just simply looking at this construction company, it allows you to see that most of the tenders were acquired by an open competition of this company with the state. If we go back to look at another competitors, and I hope that our internet will work well, we can dwell into other huge companies that are offering services to our state. This one is another one who you can see has more competitions. 84% of their profits come from one single state company, which shows you just this simple fact, shows you a huge level of dependence of this company on one particular state agency, which can also signal you, if you are a journalist or if you are an NGO activist, it can signal you some problems, and it can show you that it is maybe worth looking into the relationship between this company and such an agency, if you can't spot any corruption. Because as you can see, if this bulk of money goes away from the company is in real trouble. So such wealth of information can provide you really with hints and important ways how to see or spot corruption or indications for possible corruption. Another way how you can spot problems is to check methods for public procurement, which you can also see here. 91% of the goods that this company was providing to state were acquired through open competition, but 7% was provided through a limited competition, which can already signal some problems, because most of the times the state should really make sure that the competitions are open to many other companies who can compete for the best price. And as you can see, 0.7% was given to this company directly without any competitions or any competitors. This can be, of course, all right, but it is worth for an NGO activist or a journalist to look into these instances. So just a simple look at the data about public procurement, which didn't take us more than a minute, we could already start to think about possible indications. So you can see what you can do with such wealth of data if you not only look at the particular case as we look now, but if you compare competitors, if you compare agencies, or if you can even spot trends or larger developments. Another examples that I will talk about and I will show you are not anymore about states and how state can save money, although of course the effect will be visible for state as well. But I will try to show you examples from my work, from work of my NGO, and to show you how life of NGO activists who are controlling states and thus pressuring the state to make the environment fairer, to spend money more efficiently, to really defend public interest, how our lives can be made easier. The first example I will start with, and I will again try to share my screen with you, is called FromOurTaxes.sk. This is an application that was built by my NGO which allows you a very simple thing. It will allow you to take a register of companies, all companies in Slovak Republic, including names of people who stand behind those companies, and a register of public procurement, public tenders. We put these registers together, we meshed it up, and now by clicking a very simple name in the search, for example, a name of a very well-known oligarch in Slovakia, you will see the result that I've already produced for you. In a second, you can see that companies of this person or with activity of such a person got 1 billion of euro worth in public procurement in Slovakia. Of course, sometimes the case can be that such a person was only active in these companies for a certain time and then he dropped out. So here we offer our audience immediately a possibility to check if it was so. And as you can see, for most of these companies, 3 of them who are found in our register, the person called Juraj Široky was present as a statutory organ most of the time. So you can now go ahead and check where does this company get their money. And you can find out again that 75% of all the money that this company is getting from the state is coming also from building highways. Another smaller chunk of money comes from the parliament. For an activist like me, this is an incredible application because in the 90s, Slovak journalists and media could not get to information like this whatsoever, because we had no Freedom of Information Act. After we got Freedom of Information Act, it was for journalists easier. They had a legitimate. I'm really sorry. This is a late evening for me, so I might lose my vocabulary. So they could legitimately request such information, and the state couldn't say no. But only after such IT applications were available, the journalists didn't have to spend weeks and weeks requesting this information from the state, getting them in the paper format, comparing them in their computer, putting the data in the spreadsheets. But they could just click in a name, and in a second, instead of weeks, they will get such information available. As you can see, if we go down, you can also get a very detailed list of the simple procurements, and you can check every one of them to see how many competitors, for example, were present in such a competition, if the conditions for such a tender were open and fair, what was the time given to the companies to present their bids, etc. So you, as an experienced journalist or NGO activist, can go through a list of possible indicators for corruption, and with such results that you get in a very short time through an application, you can already see if there is any reason to immerse into these cases in a more detail, to study them, to talk to the state a little bit more, etc. Another application that we run together with Transparency International Slovakia, being very similar to what I have just shown you, is open contracts. Slovakia also belongs to one of the few countries in the world who make it possible or even compulsory for all the state agencies to publish contracts they sign with private companies or private business people. As you can see, for 2 years that such a law exists, this is the total value of contracts signed in Slovakia. So you see that the amount of money is incredibly significantly high. What is even more important is that such contracts can be valid or can come to effect without being published on the internet. So if the state agency doesn't publish such a contract on the internet, it is not effective and they can't start fulfilling the contract. Excuse me, I was sick for a few days, so my voice is cracking down a little bit. So such an application for journalists and activists as me allows us not to only see the individual contracts, but it can also we can also see what kind of state agencies sign the biggest value of contracts. We can see also who are the biggest contractors. We can comment on the contracts and share our findings with other NGOs or other activists, other experts. But we can also do a full text search through the contract. So, for example, I can immediately look for any contract signed in Slovakia. I put the name server. This is known to all of us. So I can immediately search for all the contracts that were tendering for IT servers. As you can see, the application immediately found me many of them and even highlighted where in the contract the name server or the word server appears. So it helps me to navigate through this wealth of information. Maybe the last example that I would like to share with you and then open the floor to any questions or comments is a little bit different one. This is our application called Open Politics, and it is meant or it allows Slovak politicians to register online without any paper burden. They will get a unique password and they can fill in a very detailed asset declaration. This application is an innovation of my organization. Not only our organization, but many other organizations in Slovakia found it important to see political transparency. Because if we can't verify how much money politicians are earning, we can't see if they are really behaving ethically and legally in the offices. If the wealth that they get through their term, their elected term, equals their salary that they should get, or if it's if the wealth they declare is higher, we can immediately start to spot indications of problems that are worth to go into, because it might signal corruption. For years, Slovak NGOs would like to see a very good law on asset declarations in Slovakia, but it's not possible. It wasn't possible. The Slovak parliament doesn't want to disclose this information. So we decided that it's no use in waiting for the Slovak politicians to be more transparent, but we have to force them a little bit. So we started to offer politicians this possibility to log on to our website and voluntarily disclose their property. As you can see, we have many profiles of open politicians. I can show you one that I had open here. This is a profile of a member of parliament, Miroslav Beblavý, who is accidentally also a chairman of the oversight committee for asset declarations in Slovak parliament. You can see that this politician has provides very detailed list of information, not only the information you can expect about his elected position and his membership in political parties, but he, in a very detailed form, describes his share in a company and provides us with information so we can verify the company further. He also shows us that he's employed at the university in Slovakia. He says that he doesn't have any other paid or unpaid activities. He doesn't declare any grants or any gifts. He also claims that he wasn't traveling abroad for conferences or meetings, and he wasn't getting any donations or support for such travel. He shows us information how much he earned in, for example, the year 2012. He earned 95,000 euro in total, out of which 25,000 euro came from public office. So we see that he earns a lot of money outside his public office, which is an important information because it can provide stimulus for media and activists to ask him questions. He also declares that he owns an apartment. He declares how much he paid for it. He declares what is the number of the land registration so we can verify it. He owns a family house as well. He owns a car. He shows us that he also owns some valuable papers, and he also declares that he owes money for a loan to a bank. This project has turned to be very successful for us before elections. It helped us to show the public how transparent the candidates who want to win public trust are. It allowed us to create pressure among politicians, because if one candidate or one political party is more transparent than other, then it is easier for media and for citizens to demand this information or such information from the other political parties as well. And what is most importantly, it allowed the public to see a very good ideal case study of how the official declarations could look like if we had such a functioning law in Slovakia. And this project became also a very important model when talks in parliament and among politicians have been held about amendments or implementation of such a new law. It also gave us strength as civil activists, and it made us an important actor in such a debate because we could demonstrate professional experience that we gained about this issue during implementation of such a project. So this, in short, I think that I have been speaking long enough. This, in short, were very concrete examples from Slovakia that I would like to share with you. And of course, then I would be very happy to answer any questions. And I can see from Andrei that we should have a question already. So I will try to turn to Q&A. Yes, the question from Eduard. Hello. I hope that you are still there. Is if there have been similar attempts to establish a similar database or replicate of our work in any other states. What kind of database do you have in mind? I think that there haven't been any attempts to establish a copy of the last project that I've been showing you, the Open Politics. On the other hand, I have to mention that we got inspiration for this project from San Francisco. San Francisco has an official asset declaration register, very similar to ours, which inspired us, and it got us thinking, like, we don't have to make politicians to fill in papers, we don't have to give administrative burdens on them, but we can make it very easy for them through these online tools. Regarding the other applications, open contracts, I think that there are similar examples of such huge databases about public spending in Great Britain again, in United States. There is a very interesting project called Open Corporates that is run by Chris Taggart, he's collecting information about corporations who exist in the world. But there is no mashup between the register of corporations and public procurements, for example, which would save time for journalists elsewhere. We also have won an international prize with such a project. There has been one attempt to replicate our work. We have another database of flows of public money to private hands, and this project is called datanest.sk, and it has been replicated in Montenegro, I guess Georgia, former Soviet Union Georgia, and Czech Republic to a certain extent. So I hope that I have answered all your questions. Eduard, if not, please let me know through the Q&A. I'm looking at that now, and I think that we have another question before that. No, maybe I was wrong. Maybe the question from Eduard Mihalas was about procurements, and I was maybe answering a question from Carl. So sorry guys for this mix-up. To hit the question on procurements, the procurements are not published real time. I think that what they are, these applications are taking the information, or the application is taking this information from an official register of public procurements. So it depends on the update times that the official journal for public procurement uses. I think I answered everything I see. So maybe I will turn it back to the moderators of the webinar.
Okay, thank you very much, Zuzana, for your time here and for speaking with us. And Zuzana is one of our LEND Network advisors here on the LEND Network, and we're very happy you could join us tonight. Thank you, audience, for watching and listening tonight. Thank you especially for your comments and questions. Be sure to join us in a few weeks when Ms. Stella Mokan, Director of the E-Government Center of Moldova, speaks on e-governance from the Moldovan perspective. And I'm signing off now for the LEND Network.
Thank you for the invitation. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.